Welcome to Expenses. This will be the tab that you will use most often during your trip. I know it looks a little bit daunting with all the different cells and maybe numbers and so many words, but trust me, it is very easy to use and it's going to save you so much time calculating the different expenses that you have, especially if you want to know the breakdown of each expenses and how much more can you spend for your trip too. So first up, just fill in the country that you're going to, how long would it be, and what currency the country is using. For these data over here, please do not touch nor edit anything because they have formulas and will be auto-populated. For total expenses, these will be automatically calculated when you fill in your expenses here. For budgeted, well, these will be auto-populated from your budget over here. And for remaining, as simple as your total budgeted expenses minus off your total actual expenses. So you will be left with how much more can you spend for each category, or it will let you know, hey, you know what, you've gone a little bit over your budget. So you see what you can do. These categories over here are populated from your budget list as well. So food and drinks, entertainment, it will actually be populated accordingly. Next, let's take a look at the actual expenses. So we have pre-trip expenses over here and then the actual trip expenses over at the bottom. On the left-hand side, you have day 1, day 2, day 3 of your trips and so on and so forth. I've already filled in like 31 days for you. How good is that? And then we have the dates, 28 June, 29 June. And we have the days like Tuesday, Wednesdays, Thursday, etc. Next is the itinerary. Where will you be? So first day, I'm still in Singapore and then I'm going to fly. And next day, I'll be arriving in Helsinki. Easy categorization for you to know like where are you on which day. Next, we have items. So these are like what did you do on that day? So maybe I have hotel spending over here. For descriptions, they are the details of your items. So I've stayed in ABC Hotel. I had breakfast. Oh, Charlie's Cafe. I can even put in like, oh, this is great stuff. The beef was good. The seafood was great. And if I go sightseeing, then maybe I went to museum XYZ. And of course, these are the prices, the amount that I've spent. So for food, I will put it under food and drinks. And if let's say for sightseeing, it's under entertainment. Maybe for hotel, then it will be under lodging. So maybe let's say $500 for the entire duration example. So I would not have hotel for the other days already because this is a one-time payment, right? And what's very important to note is you have to put in the categories over here. So just click on the arrow, there will be a drop down. So these drop down items are actually linked to your budget, your subcategories over here. So you have to choose the right categories so that the amount of spending will be reflected accordingly under the budget tab, and the total expenses, actual expenses will be reflected over here. The differences will be reflected over here as well. Plus, as you can see, our pie chart is showing up. I already previewed the common items that you might actually use for all the days. If you're a little bit more advanced and you want to add on rows in between, just make sure that it's below the first row and above the last row. This is because for the formula over here, if you add on a row above the data set range, then it will not include the row that is above. And if it's below, then it will not include the row that is below too. So then your formula will actually be inaccurate. Likewise, for the drop-down menu, if you go under budget, if you want to add on subcategories for your categories, then also make sure it's in between the first row and the last row so that the categories over here will be able to grab the information from the budget tab.